Oh, heaven's sake. Not prosecuting anything.
Second consideration, we just increased the cup.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30 p.m. on Tuesday, November 16th, 2021. We'll go ahead and call the City Council meeting of the City of New Ulm to order. Item number 1, consent agenda. Councilors, what are your wishes?
I'll offer a motion to approve those.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Item number 2.1, lawful gambling permit, New Ulm Area Catholic Schools.
I'll offer a motion to approve.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
Just notice that it's for Friday, January 21st at St. Anthony Building, 514 North Washington Street.
Thank you. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Item number 3.1, reports from councilors, summary of business conducted during board and commission meetings.
I just have one update from our chamber. Most of you know Michael Loft has provided his resignation, has a nice new job coming up. So we're in the process of filling that position, and we should have more knowledge next month. So good luck to Mr. Loft. He's
Not even
smiling. He's
listening.
smiling back there. Okay. He's already in his other job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Park and Rec, I was unable to attend because of another national holiday on that Monday. Heritage Preservation Commission did not meet, and I do believe Mr. Loft will be at the CVB meeting, which is tomorrow. That's it.
Perfect.
From the Planning Commission, 2 weeks ago, we had a review of going over updating our ordinances, and we're having another work session Thursday afternoon from 4 to 6 again.
And then it'll be done.
No, we've got 2 more work sessions
We keep
planned.
trying.
Ms. Webster, weren't
hopefully-
you working on that when you were on the council?
Hopefully we'll have it by the second meeting in December.
Wonderful. Thanks,
And
Eric.
nothing new to report from Brown County Solid Waste or Fireman Relief, so.
Okay, perfect. And I do not have any other updates.
What's up for you?
Yes, Mayor
All right.
Sweeney.
I will talk from the EDA. We are so pushing ahead with this daycare initiative and are making great progress with it. I can't guarantee you any outcomes, but it's exciting to be involved with a group like that has just gone a mission from God to go out there and tackle this problem. I've met with Kraft and Alina in the last week to talk to them as big employers. I have a date with 3M coming up, but we're going to do a couple presentations and appreciation for the in-home daycare providers in early December, and then we'll have a town meeting in addition to various Zoom meetings in there. So it's a fun group, and we are making progress.
Thank you. Moving to item number 4.1, report from city engineer regarding the proposed 2022 capital improvement program. Mr. Stadheim?
Right. Thank you, Madam President, City Councilors. Pleased to present to you tonight our 2022 Capital Improvement Program and City Engineers Report. Quick look at the agenda. We'll give a brief history on our reconstruction history, our distribution of our current pavement conditions, our categories and criteria for improvements, the proposed 22 improvements and estimated cost, our special benefits methodology and assessment amounts, and then we'll look at our projected 3-year capital improvement listing. So our recent roadway reconstruction activities, since 2008, we have reconstructed 35.2 miles of deficient roadway, which average about 2.5 miles per year. This is found in Section 3 of your report. In 2008, we had 29 miles of failed roadways, and we have gotten that number to 13.9. So we made significant progress since 2008 with our pavement conditions. Next slide is just a line graph showing that pavement condition breakdown. You can see we have a slight uptick in our total miles, which is the blue line. Our adequate or good pavement is also moving slightly in the upward direction. But the noticeable trend you can see is we've flopped the failed and marginal segments as we've gone on since 2010. And you'll be able to see this a little more clearly in our next couple maps on these next 2 slides. So this map was of our street conditions in 2010. Map has a lot of red, not so much green. And when we look at our current conditions, it really flops. It's where you can see that we've made significant progress on our failed segments. Most notably, like our heavily traveled state aid routes. We have numerous routes that were in pretty rough shape, and we've been able to turn those into green segments. This graph here shows our alley condition history. Alleys are only rated for pavement conditions every 3 years. So that's why on this graph you see a significant adjustment in 2019, and that line will ride consistently up until the next inspection cycle, which would be next year. So we have 234 paved alleyway segments within the city, and that breakdown clusters real close together, with 73 of those failed, 83 marginal, and 78 are adequate. And here is a map depiction of that. You can see it's very balanced as far as distribution. Next section is of the report is our criteria for potential improvements and how we get to that. So when we identify or inspect the roadway pavement conditions, it gives the roadway segment an OCI. So the OCIs are 0 to 28 are failed, 28 to 66 are marginal, and then anything above 66 is an adequate roadway segment. So we'll look at those OCI ratings, identify areas that need reconstruction. We'll evaluate curb and gutter to determine if it's a full roadway reconstruct or if it's a surface reconstruction project. We'll look at the underground utilities, water main, sanitary sewer, whether we have break history or trouble locations, and just age to see if those utilities need to be reconstructed. Determine if there's opportunities for storm sewer extensions, eliminate cross gutters, valley gutters, things of that nature. And then to comply with our complete streets policy, which is in section 4 of the report, that complete streets policy was adopted in June of 2019. We'll identify necessary ADA improvements, and then any other complete streets type improvements that we can make with a reconstruction project. So the Safety Commission recommended approval of the program at their September meeting, and we've conducted public outreach on these projects as well that are listed with for inclusion in 2022. The 2022 MSAS public open house was conducted on April 22nd, and then October 3rd we had the USA project open house as well. Next slide here looks at the delivery schedule for those improvements. So the 2022 MSAS project, we've been through the public hearing. You have previously ordered that in at the September 21st meeting. So we're in final plan development with the consultant engineer on that project and getting the plan set off to agency review. So that would include MnDOT to get their blessing on that project. And once we get a little further in that process, we'll bring that back to the City Council to approve plans and specs, set the bid date. And for the 2022 USA project, we are kind of right in the middle of design right now, so we're at the kind of the middle of the schedule there. And then we'll be moving forward on project design, setting the public hearing, and proceeding with plan delivery after that. Now we'll dig into the actual proposed improvements for 2022. First project up is the 2022 Utility Street and Alley Improvement Project. First location on there is Jacobs and Sampson Utility and Roadway Extension Project. It's the area generally located north of Walmart and west of the existing airport industrial subdivision. That includes utility and roadway extensions and a price tag of $1.4 million. Next segment is German Street from 7th North to 12th North, 5 blocks of utility and complete roadway reconstruction. As you can see, we have old infrastructure in the ground that needs replacing and roadway pavement with a very poor rating. That comes in at almost $2.5 million. Next on the list, we have 3 alley segments that are in need of reconstruction. So Alley 174 South, 196 North, and then 190 North. All of those have an OCI of 4 or under. approximated cost of $62,000 approximately on all three of those. Sanitary sewer repairs, we have a broken pipe segment on 19th North Street near the State Street intersection that we need to repair, and we have a sanitary sewer structure that we need to line because of its poor condition at First South and Broadway. And then the concrete sidewalk and ADA improvements is generally the pedestrian ramp improvements on the street department's surface reconstruction project. So we'll replace 30 non-compliant ramps that are proposed in 2022, and then we need to replace a alley approach near the movie theater that's in poor shape that is creating some issues. That estimated cost is about $130,000 for those improvements. The 2022 MSAS improvement project, that's 20th North Street from Broadway to Front Street and Front Street from 19th North to 20th North Street. That includes storm sewer modifications, roadway improvements, curb and gutter, rec trail, sidewalks, street lighting, and boulevard restoration at $1.9 million. Also slated for next year is the 2022 Brown County Improvement Project. That's the North Highland Avenue or CASA 13 from CASA 29 to North Broadway Improvement Project and realignment of that roadway segment. That includes some utility modifications, storm sewer extensions and modifications, in which the city is participating in some costs for, and then also we are participating in some concrete sidewalk and rec trail and street lighting improvements. The county will lead that project, and we'll participate on those construction of those items. That comes in at almost $3.8 million. And then the 2022 surface reconstruction project performed by our street department and city forces. About 12 blocks of reconstruct here. 19th North Street from Broadway to Franklin. As you can see, we have an OCI average of around 9. Franklin Street from 12th North to 17th North Street. This is the area generally from the Civic Center and Fairground area up to where we left off at the end of North Park this year. Washington Street from 19th North to Highway 14, just a 1-block stretch. And we have 10 South Street from Summit Avenue to Rosalind Road and a short section of Rosalind Road from 10 South to the end terminus. And we have a 2-block section on South Washington Street by the existing field maintenance shop for the National Guard. That's from 15th to 17th South Street. And then potentially penciled in, we have 2022 airport improvements, and that would be our Phase 1 wildlife safety fencing, and that's contingent on FAA grant award for that work. So in total, bringing that all together, we're almost at $11 million worth of improvements, 10.8 with all those projects combined. Next slide is the map that shows those project locations throughout the city. And then section 2 of the report touches on the special benefit methodology. With all of this information that's stated, we believe the recommended improvements are necessary, feasible, and they're grouped to enhance constructability, provide a cost-effective capital improvement program that is outlined in section 5. So our dedicated funding sources, as you can see, we have about $8.1 million that's dedicated from whether it's PUC funding, MSAS funding, or county funding. And we did put in some American Rescue Plan funding for some of the improvements out in the airport industrial subdivision for some utility work up there. So that brings our bonding need to about $2.9 million. So special benefit methodology. Initial improvements are usually done per an existing development agreement on a front foot basis. If there's no development agreement, they're done on that front foot basis as well. Generally, 100% of the assessed costs are assessed back to the benefiting property owners, excuse me. Reconstruction of the existing improvements are assessed at 60% of the cost of a general city street on a per parcel basis in most instances, and that's set by resolutions 8850 and 9035. Utility reconstruction is not assessed, and that's paid for by the base funding and infrastructure surcharge on the PUC utility statements. Surface reconstruction projects are assessed at 45% of the reconstruction rate, and alleys are assessed on a front foot basis to the adjacent property owners. We'll run through the assessment amounts quickly on the USA project. Jacobs and Thompson's, that's at about $463 per front foot for a total estimated assessment amount of that $1.07 million. That's less than the construction amount because of that American Rescue Plan funding. German Street, we figured the $4,000 reconstruction rates assessed to 61 single-family parcels, and then 3 commercial parcels are $262,000. All of the alleys are estimated at $70 per front foot for a total of $49,000. And then there's no assessments for the sanitary sewer or the ADA sidewalk improvements. The 2022 MSAS improvement project is assessed at $156 per front foot, and that is reduced to 60% of the normal reconstruction rate, which is $260 per front foot, due to that roadway being a local collector. So we reduced that assessment amount. And then assessments for driveways are on a individual basis. Total estimated assessment amount on that project is $365,000. And then there are no assessments on the 2022 Brown County project. Surface reconstruction project assessments, the assessment rate is $1,800 per residential parcel. As you can see, the assessment amounts applied to each of those individual sections. That's just applying at $1,800 across each parcel. So in summary, you can see the estimated special assessment amounts is just over $2 million compared to the $10.8 million estimated total project costs. We'll jump into our projected 3-year listing. So this is proposed for 2023, would be Bridge Street would be our big project in 2023, kind of in front of Kraft and Ilpia on the south end of town. 3 additional alleys that we need to reconstruct, and then concrete sidewalks and ADA improvements. 2023 MSAS project will be the North Highland Avenue project and North Broadway project. There's a potential for a mill and overlay project by the county on 10 South Street, which is also CASA 26. That would be from Broadway to the Flanders State Park entrance. And we are programmed to receive some railroad safety improvements on Valley Street at the spur crossing on Valley Street in 2023 as well. That'd be lights and gates. Surface reconstruction project, we have 4 blocks of South German Street from 12th South to 16th South. 2 blocks of State Street from 17th North to 19th North. We have 1 final block, or 2 blocks on 8th North Street that we need to finish up to complete that segment. And that's from Broadway to Washington. 17th North Street from Franklin to Jefferson. 6th South from Broadway to German. And 1st South down by between Valley and Front Streets. Estimated CIP totaling for 2023 is $5.4 million. And there is a map depicting those project locations. And in 2024, list of projects as well. We have quite a few blocks of underground utilities, some surface reconstruction up on Oakwood Avenue. Again, some alleys that need to be reconstructed. The big one on this list is going to be in the 2024 MnDOT project, which is the roundabout construction at North Highland Avenue and Highway 14. Which I should note that we've received some highway safety improvement funds, both the city and MnDOT have for that project to help with that project cost. 2024 would be phase 2 of the wildlife fencing up at the airport, and then a whole list of another 12 blocks of surface reconstruction as well. The 2024 CIP is currently at $11.1 million with some big ticket projects, and that includes 20th South Street from Broadway to the River Bridge as well. And there is a map depicting those project locations. And that is the end of my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions council may have.
Lots going on. Any questions?
I know I've talked about the North Highland Road that's projected for next year. The road really isn't that bad. It's just the manhole covers that, it's got a few cracks in it, but there's not potholes or anything.
Yeah, it's long-term utility settlement, yep, around the manhole structures. So it's,
That's what they need to,
we're gonna mill and overlay the whole stretch and as well as address
that'll
those
smooth
locations.
the whole thing
Yep,
out.
Yep,
Because there's certainly a lot of streets that are worse than that street.
yep.
But because of those,
We actually received some federal funding for that project as well, so that's why it's slated for 2023. Yep.
all right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Looks like a lot of things. I'm excited about 2024.
I think a lot of people are, yes.
Presentation, your predecessor would be proud.
All right, thank you, Mr. Stadheim.
Well, I'll offer a motion to adopt and the proposed 2022 capital improvement program, acknowledge receiving the engineer's report.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you again.
All right, thank you, Council.
Old business, item number 5.1, summary of performance evaluation for City Manager Chris Dalton. At this time, I'm going to receive and note in the meeting minutes the summary of the closed meeting held on Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021, regarding annual performance evaluation, goals, and expectations for City Manager Chris Dalton, as set forth in Minnesota Statute 13D.05, Subdivision 3A, 13D.01, Subdivision 3. In a closed session following the November 2nd meeting, City Council and Mayor held a performance review for City Manager Chris Dalton. Mr. Dalton received positive feedback regarding his navigation of an unusual year as a result of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Dalton provided the council a recap of his work and addressed concerns raised in a prior review regarding his need for additional training. City Manager Dalton indicated he has attended several trainings and seminars, both in person and virtually, and shared his intents to continue taking advantage of training opportunities as they become available. Council proposed City Manager Dalton work on accelerating response times to calls and emails and to strengthen communication with department heads, councilors, and citizens. Mr. Dalton's upcoming assignments include the development and presentation of an updated comprehensive plan, citywide strategic plan, and the presentation of an updated zoning plan. Additionally, Mr. Dalton will continue his work with the partnership between the City of New Ulm, Economic Development Authority, and Economic Development Corporation with the goal of providing clarity and a framework for enhancing New Ulm's economic development. That concludes my summary. Item number 5.2, second consideration of ordinance number 2021-046, fifth series, regarding the schedule of fees.
Councilors, this is just the second presentation of this fee schedule. I will note that we made the changes requested and approved by council. The tobacco fees went up from $150 to $250, and the administration fee for mowing charges went from $265 to $300, and then the snow removal admin fee was increased from $50 to $300 to be the same as the mowing fee.
I would like to add, I'd like to add one point on why the mowing and the discrepancy between the mowing and snow removal. So it's more administrative time to do the mowing, as it's a 7-day notice, versus the snow, which is we go out, take a picture, and then they go out and remove the snow for safety hazards. So I would recommend that you do lower that fee just a little bit because the administrative time isn't there.
I want to leave it the same.
Okay.
I want to get out of the business of the city of New Ulm being the private conductor of your sidewalk or ADA ramp. I want to leave it the same.
I agree, people need to take care of their property.
Attention.
Just tired of the last 7 years. It's been the same people every year, and they use us to take care of their lawn and snow,
I bet the list will look different next year.
Well, we'll see.
We will see. So as it stands, no changes to what was,
What's presented in the packet, yep.
thank you.
Madam President, I think it would be appropriate then for the council to actually, for someone to move to adopt this. Thank you.
I'll offer a motion to adopt the fees or the ordinance number 2021-046 fifth series, amending section 299 of the city code relative to the schedule of city fees.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5.3, second consideration of zoning ordinance number 2021-047, fifth series zoning.
Dave Schnubert, Community Development Director. This is a particular ordinance, rezones property at 2010 South Broadway from B1 to B2. The request was made by Chris and Laura Williams. Currently located on the property is a single-family dwelling. Purpose of the rezoning was to authorize the operation of a plumbing business at that location.
Thank you, Mr. Schnobert.
Correct. City Attorney, you want a motion on this too to adopt? Right. Motion to adopt the ordinance number 2021-047 fifth series, amending section 9.04 of the city code of the city of New Ulm relative to zoning in said city.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried. Item number 5.4, Safety Commission recommendation.
Madam President, City Councilors, the Safety Commission considered the request from the City Council to examine the need for ordering in sidewalk on 9th South Street between Washington Street and the East Terminus at their November 4th, 2021 meeting. The Commission, after some discussion, determined the lack of sidewalk at this location was not a safety concern due to the simple lot division of Lot 14, Block 115 south of Center, and that this area would have minimal pedestrian traffic and vehicular conflicts within this one-half block segment.
Thank you. And this was brought up at a prior meeting, and
This came from the October 5th meeting with the simple lot division at 901 South Washington Street. It was a condition of the simple lot division approval that the Safety Commission examine this location for the need for sidewalk.
So we're to make a motion on that too, to accept it?
Anybody else?
Just to receive and accept an order filed.
Make a motion to receive and order filed the recommendation from the Safety Commission to not order in sidewalk installation on 9th South Street from Washington Street to the East Terminus.
All right, we've got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
We have a second. Any other discussion on this topic? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. So with that, we probably need to do a roll call.
Yes. Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Warmka,
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz.
No. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 5.5, Sister City Commission sign request.
Presented by me.
Mr. Mayor, you want to take that one?
All right. The sister cities would like to put on signs at the population signs in the 3 entrances, I believe. They'll say something to the effect of New Ulm Sister City with Ulm and Neu-Ulm, Germany. But to do that, due to MnDOT rules, you have to take off the 3 existing smaller signs, which were Governor's Fit City, Bicycle Friendly City, and Tree City USA. So how do we make everybody happy? So we've been working with an idea that we should put up I'll call it a service club sign, which would include those 3 as well. A working, but by no means confirmed location is on 7th North and German Street near the Hans Use Park kiosk area there. So the traffic coming in on 1415 would see that. I've sent letters off to the main service organizations. We may refine that. I can tell you the Lions have said categorically they would love it, and were kind of giving me examples of other places they've seen Lions Club service sign boards. And so it's moving forward. I'm not sure what action we need right now.
I do have one question with it. I mean, we had tabled it and staff was directed to reach out to these other organizations. Now in our sheet here, okay, they contacted Tom Schmitz, Park and Rec Director, on all these affiliations. I'm just wondering if anybody besides Mr. Schmitz got to speak to these organizations.
Tom Schmitz, Park and Recreation Department. I was just chiming in on the Tree City USA, Governor's Fit City, and bicycle-friendly community signs. Those three municipal signs, not the service organization, service club signs.
So at this point, I would look at, because the mayor is still looking at reaching out to the service clubs to just receive the update, and we'll bring it back once we hear back from the service clubs at the different locations.
I certainly support it, and I like the comment that you made, Mayor Sweeney, I think the last meeting, where when you pull into a city and you see these signs, it just shows a real active city, and I think that was a great comment, because that's true. You just like, wow, they got a lot going on here. So I think we all support it, just a matter how do we do it correctly and be fair to everybody, so.
And one thing that Joe Stodheim and I had talked about is if we're going to start out with one of these things, and if the bicycle friendly and the three entities would like theirs at other locations, there's got to be poles or light standards or whatever that they could be put on. So it's not like we're abandoning it.
So do we want to table this for more information then? Is that what?
Yeah, this one was should have been a receive and order file, just the update, so you know that we're working on it. And the mayor was reaching out to some of those clubs. So you can, again, table it again or just receive and order file the update.
So either way it would work?
Yeah, either way would be fine.
I'm going to just table this for, do we have more information before we can make a decision on this topic?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to table. Any other discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6.1, new business, city council appointments for January 22 annual meeting.
President Becker and councilors, this is just kind of a heads up for you guys going into the January meeting on who's serving on which organizations and helping with those. And really the only ones that we actually need any action taken on would be the two airport ones, just making sure that those two people are willing to recommit for their second term.
I noticed a couple that are missing. Now I'll probably find it when I zip through it. But I'm the city council rep on the chamber, and I also sit on the NewCat board. I didn't see those on here.
Am I wrong? Do you see HPC on there? I don't.
I don't either. So.
Heritage
I
Preservation.
don't think all of them are on
Okay.
there.
Yeah, I don't know that they're all necessarily council appointments
Yeah.
either, that
Yeah,
you
they
would
are.
make decisions on,
HPC
but-
is,
And Park and Rec.
Park and Rec is.
So, yeah, every.
Good, though.
every-
I don't have to be on any boards. I'm fine with
So
that.
I just want to, I think that any
Bad thing, right?
or commission, that would be a counselor, that would be a council appointment,
Yeah,
correct?
mine were council appointments.
Right, because we shouldn't, I don't think we should be on as private citizens, right? On any of these, but we're council appointed?
No.
Okay. All right.
So I'll offer a motion to receive and order file this report.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion is carried. Item number 6.2, donation to New Ulm Fire Department.
I'll offer the resolution, waive the reading to accept $350 donation from the Brown County Ag Society.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Matt?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
And President Becker?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 6.3, Police Department donations.
I'll offer a resolution to waive the reading to accept a monetary donation, the amount of $500 from Minnesota South Central Coalition to be used for support Shop with the Hero program.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? I just think that's a great program, and glad to have those funds available to do that. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
President Becker?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 6.4, Park and Rec donations.
Okay, I'll offer the resolution, waive the reading, accept the donations offered to the city of Nome through the Park and Rec Department as outlined. German Park Amphitheater Trade Structure, $50 from LaDonna Lily Loudon. German Park Pavers and Improvements, $600 from Gerald and Maggie Ubel. And that is honoring Jerry and Maggie Ubel, Michael, Terry, Matthew, Rochelle, Kayla, Jeff, Tammy, Becky, and Thomas Bach. $200 from the Greater Brown County Area Girl Scouts and $200 from Barb Miller, all totaling $1,050 in cash.
Thank you, letters by the mayor. I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
President Becker?
Yes, motion is carried.
I'll offer a motion at this point to suspend the rules to take on an amendment.
Second.
We have a motion and a
Addendum.
addendum. We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules for action on the addendum and add one item of new business for Emerald Ash Borer Preparedness Grant. Any other discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Under new business, item 1.1, Emerald Ash Borer Preparedness Grant. Mr. Nisley.
Good evening, Council President, Councilors. The proposed action here is to offer a resolution and waive the reading to accept or deny the not-to-exceed $100,000 grant with the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources for Urban and Community Forest Services with a local match amount of 25% or $39,650. If this were authorized, or if accepted, it would authorize the city manager to sign the grant documents, approve and authorize advertisements for requests for proposals for a private contractor to remove ash trees from specified boulevard areas, and to hire a contractor to replace all the ash with new boulevard trees. The City of New Ulm's Tree Advisory Commission did support the acceptance of this grant at their September 2nd, 2021 meeting. For a little bit of background, staff applied for this grant in August from the DNR for a total amount of $100,000 to replace, to remove ash trees throughout city boulevards in response to the discovery of emerald ash borer in 2019. We did officially received notification that we were awarded the grant August 30th, 2021, but we didn't want to bring it to the city council until we had a grant contract that we could bring in front of you, which came yesterday. And the reason we wanted this to be an addendum is because we're already in the period of time where we could be removing trees, and we want to hire a contractor as soon as possible. Staff worked with city engineering, the street department, park and rec, and city administration, and the community development department to develop a plan on what trees we will be removing. A couple key aspects on the grant. Only ash trees in public boulevard areas or public lands can be removed with these funds. We can't use these funds on private property. All ash that we will be removing will be replaced with a new tree, and there are 7 different tree species that we will be replacing with the ones we'll be removing. We will notify property owners prior to any removal of ash trees, and at that point in time, they will be able to contact us and tell us that they are either A, treating that tree and don't want it removed, or B, are going to be removing it themselves. But again, we won't be able to use our funds for them to remove it on their own. The grant period is going to run from November 18th, 2021 to June 30th, 2023, or until all obligations have been satisfactorily fulfilled. We can only remove ash trees November through April, and that's because that's when the emerald ash borer is dormant and won't be flying around as we move trees around town from where they're being cut all the way out to the compost site. So generally speaking, the removal of the trees is going to be focused on Census Tract 9601.01, or the Goosetown area, from 15th North to Bridge Street on the south end of town, and then from Broadway down to the Minnesota River. Okay. Within that area, we're estimating that we're going to be removing around 250 ash trees with $100,000. So, and that is that number could change. It could go up. It could go down, depending on the bids that we receive for that removal. I should note that this is our second grant that we received. So the first round of funding that for removal, we removed 324 trees. So if we meet our goals, we'll be removing almost 600 trees, ash trees from the boulevards. And that would conclude my staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Nisley.
I got this report too late, and I didn't have a chance to read it before today's meeting. It's probably addressed in the report, but what do you do with the trees? Burn them?
Yeah, so that's something we're going to explore a little bit more. The trees can't go outside of the quarantine zone from where the Emerald Ash borer is. So generally speaking, or what we've been told in the past from the Minnesota Department of Agriculture, is it can't leave the city limits of New Ulm. That being said, people do like to go cut wood at the compost site. So that is an alternative that we have to discuss with the Department of Agriculture, but we have to be able to ensure them that it's not leaving the city limits. So we have to figure out a program that could work for that.
John, are we going to be going out for bids then for contractors, or are we able to use our previous contractor?
No, we will have to rebid this. We hope to have received bids by December 15th and then bring it back to the city council before the first of the year.
John, what can you tell me about the progress that we've made with this so far? Like, are you finding a lot of people are cutting down the trees or choosing to treat the trees, or and where we're at with that, I guess?
I can tell you a couple of things. So there are a few folks that are treating their own trees, and as long as you're treating those trees, they're going to survive. But as soon as you stop, it makes them more susceptible. We thought this was going to be more of a long-term, or we would see that emerald ash borer show up long-term in New Ulm, but it's clearly already showing up on the north and the south, up on the hill, all the way down onto South German Street. So it's showing up all over town quicker than we had expected. And with this program, you know, when we removed the 324 trees in 2021, we thought we would hear a bunch of concerns, and generally speaking, it was a really good program. We had a lot of positive feedback on that project.
Yeah, the education that came out on that was very good.
The contractor the last time had a low bid, but boy, did they go to work.
Yeah.
And they like ran from tree to cut and with their chainsaws. But they did a great job. They moved along, and I saw them in action by the courthouse, and they took down like 7 trees, and it literally was like 20 minutes. So it was like, they were gone. The trucks were all helping each other, and it was just amazing how fast that particular company worked. So.
Well, thank you.
Good. I'll go ahead and offer a resolution, waive the reading to accept the $100,000 grant agreement with Minnesota DNR for urban and community forestry services with an amount of local or in-kind match of $39,650.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
Yeah, just
Oh,
one.
there's a part B to that, sorry. If accepted, also authorize the city manager to sign grant documents, approve, and authorize the advertisement of requests for proposals for a private contractor to remove these ash trees from the specified boulevard areas, and to hire a contractor to replace all the ash removed with new boulevard trees.
Continue my second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries with no additional business. This meeting is adjourned. Oh.
We have a resolution.
Oh, that is a resolution. Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Warmka, sorry.
Yes.
Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Christian.
Yes.
Counselor Schultz.
Yes.
And President Becker.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, John. Now, with no more business, this meeting is adjourned.
Hey, I couldn't get either one.
We will move into a work session in approximately 5 minutes.